slowest showing podcast in our
Living
history.
free. No, if John puts Infinity War spoilers, it's gonna explode. People will be coming out of the woodworks. People will be coming through the basement windows.
And then we get to the very end and have to take our socks off.
Socks will be thrown everywhere.
I really can't understand Brian, by the way. I just hear mumbling.
That's what I do, Aaron. That's what I do.
Hello and welcome to the Five Live Bears podcast. Hope everybody's having a wonderful spring day here in Kentucky. It is nice and comfortable temperature-wise, but we have something very important to talk about today, guys.
The Kentucky Oaks.
Yes.
Mint
This is
juleps.
That's right.
Five Live Mares.
Oh, there was a special Five Live Mares episode at Kentucky Derby tomorrow.
And then with that, John decided to change the show and start over again.
Well, we're done.
All right. Well,
It's been fun while it lasted.
Charlie, why is today so special?
oh, it's special, all right. We are going to discuss Infinity War. It's finally something we all saw. I was the last to see it. I wish I hadn't have seen it.
Oh, it's unfortunate.
It is. It's very unfortunate.
The movie
Before
was
you
ruined.
get there, though, today, the day of recording, is May the 4th, Star Wars Day.
It is. It is Star Wars.
It is
Day.
Star Wars Day. My daughter and I went to the library, and we made lightsabers today. I wish they were fully functioning, but no, they're just pool noodles.
Well, they're fully functioning pool toys.
That's right.
It's true. It's true. They actually let me make one also. I felt special.
That is very nice of them.
Did you do anything special for Star Wars Day?
No.
Any Star Wars related tattoos or?
No. Not today.
I wore a shirt.
So did
We're
you.
glad
I'm
that
wearing
you
a
wore a
shirt
shirt.
too. I'm actually wearing this one tonight because I told one of my 8th grade students that I would wear it tonight on the YouTube because she gave it to me for not only May the 4th, but also for Teacher Appreciation Day today, which was, yeah.
Your students do like you.
Well, I think because yesterday I made an announcement in the hallway. I said, all right, everybody listen up. Tomorrow is Teacher Appreciation Day. I expect 1 liter of Cokes, Hershey bars, and any type of monetary gratuity in any denomination that you wish. And I think some of the younger kids, some of the 6th graders actually got scared and brought stuff today. Just helping. I got a thing of somebody brought me a thing of what are those called? The nuts where you got to pop them out of the
You were on your own, buddy.
pistachios. Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
them. I couldn't remember what they were.
Didn't know where that was going.
Well, it sounded like he was describing something foreign, like something like you know that thing that we got from Narnia.
Yeah.
You know those things.
with,
where you
with the nuts popping out.
well, at first I thought it was like talking about ammonia tabs or something. You know, you snap them, put them in people's noses.
She was like, she's like,
that's not us.
she's like, my mom picked these out for you. And handed them to me. I was like, okay, well, that's cool. I mean, of all the things to get, it's pistachios. It's awesome. Because I sat in class this afternoon and ate them. I don't know if anybody had any nut allergies or not, but it's like rubbing all my hands on all the desks and stuff after I was done.
Everybody has to give Brother John a high five on the way out. Mr. Mattingly, I'm sorry. Mr.
My
Mattingly.
hands all tingly. Yeah, no, but I got the shirt. She got me the shirt.
It looks good.
And it
looks good on
says,
you.
leave it, or not leave it.
Leave this school
Learn it,
now.
you will.
I'm a teacher.
Those who can't.
Learn it. Those who can't read will teach. It's kind of our thing. Learn it, you will. I teach with the Force, and at the bottom it says, "Teach it, I shall." So it has Yoda on it.
At the
So
bottom it says, "Say it, don't spray it."
she did really good on that.
Awesome. Good. I hope everybody enjoyed their Star Wars Day. Sorry. Charlie, now, as you were leading us into, take us to the promised land.
Well, first and foremost, spoiler.
If you haven't seen Infinity War, do not listen from here on out unless you want your brain spoiled.
If you haven't seen Infinity War, don't.
Oh, stop it!
I'm not allowed to have my opinion on this.
Oh no, we didn't say that.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
not
what
go
we're-
down. Let's not go down the tag road.
I'm just saying. I feel taggy right now.
Oh no, gosh.
Real quick, since you mentioned that, Aaron.
No.
This isn't a bad thing. Aaron, did you find out about Tag from the Joel McHale show starring Joel McHale?
No, I found it on. But yeah, I did see him talk
Yeah.
about it on Joe
No,
McHale.
Aaron
It was
found it
there.
on his own.
Yeah, I was just wondering because I was sitting there watching it, and all of a sudden it popped up like, oh my gosh, maybe. I still hate the movie. Never mind. Even though Joe McHale's making fun of it, I still hate it.
thought it'd be good to do this. Let's around the room allow everybody to speak for a minute or two, just their initial feelings and reactions about the movie. Like just your initial. You watched the movie, you walked out of it. How did you feel, Brian? Lead us off, sir.
Saw it twice on opening weekend, and both times when I left the movie theater, I thought it was a good movie. I really, really liked it. I liked the way they put it all together and had all the characters interact. So for me, it was. But again, as we talked about in the previous podcast, I went in with zero expectations, and it came out as a good movie. So
Good. John?
I came out and on the first one and or texted Brian and said that it was a great big fire of awesomeness. And then I saw it the second time, and I gave it a, yeah, it was all right. Second time I saw it, the first time I was like, oh, I was blown away. Second time I was kind of like, yeah, okay, it's all right. It's good. It's still good. I mean, don't get me wrong. But favorite all time Marvel movie? No.
Aaron, your life and dreams coming to life on the movie. Your thoughts?
I thought the only thing that was really missing was my friend Adam Warlock. But other than that, I thought it was great. As I left the theater, I was kind of like dancing in the aisles, but everybody else was kind of like at a funeral, like really upset. And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
So
long live Thanos!
I loved it. I saw it twice. I saw it on Thursday and Friday. Left it both times. Just really enjoyed it. I'm ready to go see it again. Brian and I, we talk about it almost every day. Hey, we want to go see Infinity War again.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked it. It was just one of my favorite Marvel movies. And the best for last, Charlie.
Hang on. Don't hold anything back.
Oh, I kind of feel like I need to, so I'm just going to say this.
Don't.
I think that I agree with Brian. I think the interaction between the characters was outstanding. Even though there were things that I wanted to see that I didn't, I was surprised that what I was hoping to see interaction-wise was actually better than what I was hoping. You know, what they had was better than I was wanting for. Teenage Groot was great. Probably, okay, my favorite part of the movie, comedy-wise, was when Groot's speaking in the pod and Thor responds to him.
Yes.
About his twig.
They teach it in Asgard. That was great.
It's an elective.
Yeah, it's an elective. Yeah, that was just such a great.
Thor, Groot, and Rocket.
Yes,
were great.
I was just blown away by that. Thanos is an amazing villain. That I don't like the fact that he was an eco-terrorist in this one. We've got to kill off the population to save all the rest of the population. It's a little bit too much. And okay, so what this film is telling us is that if you love people, it's okay to let the world die because you love people. I will not repeat what I wrote in the group text because
Yes,
it's not.
please don't.
But we could have ended this movie in the first 10 minutes instead of killing Loki. We could have ended the movie and just killed Vision and be over with it. But it's not what they did, and that's fine. In my opinion, it's a poorly written script because instead of writing an intelligent story, they just decided, let's pull all their heartstrings. 2.5 hours of being sad. All right, guys, let's go. It was cheap and it wasn't well done, in my opinion. Now, there were certain things about it that were good, but it wasn't a well-written story. When you have millions of pages of comic books to pick from for this, and you go with a story that's stupid, I just don't understand it.
I don't necessarily think the story was stupid.
I'm wrong, sorry.
No.
No, hang on. Well, hang on. Everybody's entitled to an opinion
I'm not
here.
saying that. I get what you're saying. I do. It does get on my nerves where you feel like, okay, we really could have solved all of this if they would have just done this with Vision. But at the same time, I understand she doesn't want to have to kill Vision unless it's the last thing she has to do because she is in love with Vision. So I understand that.
She's in love with a toaster.
But would it have even mattered, though?
But she's in love with a toaster in the comic books, too.
But hold on a minute.
I mean,
would it have mattered, though? Like, let's say they did that right at the beginning. Let's say she absolutely obliterates Vision.
If she had killed Vision and Peter Quill had killed Gamora, over.
But Thanos gets the time stone and just reverses time all the way back.
He tried to kill Gamora.
But
and then he
Yeah,
and
but
then
not
he,
when
then
she
he
told
could,
him to.
And then he can then he could just rip the stone out of his head again, and then he could just kill Gamora if he has the time stone, right? I mean,
Well,
wouldn't that be?
if
Wouldn't
they
he just be able to just rewind time? back?
Had he not got the other stones, then they could have gotten Doctor Strange to not be an idiot.
Well, okay, I thought,
But he wasn't an idiot. That's his plan. He sees the one reality where they win everything,
And
and
that's
he
what-
set
Well,
it
I
in motion.
understand what you're saying, but they didn't have to do the stupid things they did. It's a story. You don't have to write a stupid story, in my opinion.
so.
Anyway,
this
go
is
ahead,
this
Tim.
is the most speechless we've been on a premiere.
Well, here's the thing, too. Like, I wrote like 47 messages on the group chat, and no one responded.
Well, in my
I did.
defense, it was like 10 o'clock at night, and my phone was on silent because I was going to sleep.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
I did respond.
Well, later on.
Oh, well, yeah.
No, I didn't respond at all because I didn't see him until Tim said, "Have you seen the message board?"
Well, here's
And I
the
said,
thing.
no, I
I
haven't read
understand you're saying that they made all these stupid decisions, so then Doctor Strange had to make the one decision. But like I mean, it's a story. It's a comic book movie. I mean, I'm not expecting to be blown away with some magnificent, Shakespearean type outline of a story, but like I still think it was well done. I think that she didn't kill Vision because she loved him, and he couldn't kill Gamora because she loved him. The whole point of this movie, to me, and I took away from it, was that this was a movie about sacrifice. It is from go. It's about sacrifice. Heimdall sacrifices himself to save Hulk. Loki sacrifices himself to try to save Thor, and then you have Gamora who sacrifices herself. You have Spider-Man who goes ahead and stays on the ship and knowing that he could be sacrificing himself. You have in Thanos' mind, he thinks he's sacrificing the world or half the population to save the other half of the population, and then you have the struggle of Scarlet Witch not wanting to sacrifice Vision. I mean, Captain America and Vision go back and forth with the line about not trading a life for a life. I think the whole movie is about sacrifice, and you have Doctor Strange willing to sacrifice the stone to save Tony and different things like that. And when I look at it from that point of view, then their decisions or the story I don't feel like is dumb, for lack of better words, because I see the overall point. The overall point is talking about the struggles that we all have if we were in a situation where we would have to make the decision to sacrifice somebody else's life or to sacrifice something else. And to me, that is the overall theme of the movie, is sacrifice. And so in that way, I think those decisions, whether they're bad or not, have to be made.
So, what is our favorite? We can get back to Charlie and our criticisms of it here, but what is our favorite? What's the favorite character? What things did we like about it? I think that's a big. And the thing with me is that it's taken me almost a week after it's been over to wrap my mind around the movie because it's such a colossal. I mean, it's an event movie. I mean, it's huge, and I was worried going in, and this is something we had discussed, and I had discussed with Carla, that I was worried that what we were going to see was an over inflation of all these characters, and it was going to be bulky and bloated. But I never really got that. They did a very good job, in my view. They did a very good job of balancing all the characters off against each other and putting characters that really kind of related to the other characters together.
Right.
And I thought it was a very
Somebody at work asked me if it was one of those movies that would, for 1 minute, bounce of one scene, 1 minute bounce to the other place, 1 minute, and it didn't. It spent 10 minutes on Titan, showing this battle, and then it spent 10 minutes at Wakanda. It wasn't just this rapid fire back and forth. It took time to try to develop out those events. But anyways, John, your favorite character, favorite scene, favorite part of what was going on in the movie?
Well, I think as far as characters go, and I have told, and I guess this is going to be kind of a bold statement on my part, but I told kids in class, because they came in there, did you see it? Did you see it? I was like, yeah, I saw it twice. And I went and saw it on Friday night, and then I saw it again on Sunday afternoon. And they were like, what you think? What you think? I said, well, in my view, big bold statement here, I think Thanos is the greatest movie villain since Darth Vader. just in the way he was, his complete attitude toward things. And I get now in Charlie, in your defense here, when I gave it a gigantic wet eye roll when they started into the eco-terrorism thing too. I was kind of like, oh, give me a break. That's so weak. I mean, it's okay. Way to do that. Way to do the mad Titan and make him into and belittle him down to the point of being a earthy eco-terrorist for the entire universe.
Instead of wanting to bring the universe under his grip, he wanted to make sure people had enough apples.
I think the thing about it with me is I would have been I think I could have got on board with his message a little bit more if it had been just balance for balance sake. I'm balancing things because
I thought that was his point when he said that the universe is finite. I mean, the resources are only so much.
Yeah, but then
if you overpopulate it, then everyone suffers from that.
But what I'm talking about is I would have preferred it to have been one of these things to where he was like, not necessarily in the environmental way of, oh, we don't have enough food, because that made him sound like he cared. I'm talking about it along the lines of, hey, I want to destroy half of the universe just because I want to see people die.
Or
that's the way I would have liked to
I know
see
better than you do.
Yeah.
I don't care about you, but I know better than you what's good for you.
And that's the way I would have liked to have seen it played. Is not not necessarily toward, oh, I'm so worried about this.
I thought you meant that's what he was saying. I was like, man, I'm that's why I was trying to ask the question.
No,
I was
no,
like,
no.
I was like, man, I must have really missed this part of.
No, what I would like to have seen her do is be
with
like, your destiny is that I want to see people die, and I'm going to kill half the universe to do it.
With a snap of my fingers.
That's my kick, because I'm a psychopathic serial killer, and that's what I'm going to do.
But wouldn't that have cheapened him?
Oh, I don't know. It depends. I guess it would, but
because that would be every other one that we've ever had, right? I mean, Hela, that's what she wanted to do. I mean, that's what Loki's wanted to do. I mean, that's what they've all wanted to do.
But I think there was 1,000 different. And this, like Charlie said, there's a million different comic book storylines that they could have taken to get them from point A to point B, and it didn't have to be an environmental preaching service.
So, in the comic books, though, he's in love with Mistress Death, and that's she's literally the embodiment of death, and she's saying that it's out of balance. There's too many people living too long now, so I want you to kill half the universe for me. So he goes against the Infinity Gauntlet to do that, but there's also a whole issue where he's justifying this to Silver Surfer, talking about the resources are finite and stuff. So all this is basically out of the comic books. They just removed the Mistress Death element from it.
Well, I guess I could have gotten behind it more if they'd had the Mistress Death, because that's what I was kind of expecting to come in. They never brought that in. And
well, they did. It was Red Skull. He was in love with Red Skull.
Okay, we can get back to that in a second. But I think the thing about it is, with me especially, because I'm a conservative. I'm a conservative guy, and it was another one of them type things because of the unexplanation as to why he was doing it and leaving out that kind of, I guess, Mistress Death part. It just felt more, oh, here we go again, another environmental message from Thanos. Great, thanks.
It just didn't
pick up your water bottles, folks.
In my opinion, it didn't. He's not. I mean, I can kind of see the desire to make him to appear benevolent, but had they gone back and been like, oh, I'm just fooling you. This is not. I just need to have everybody to be under my control. That was my take on it. I didn't. The eco thing was just kind of weird. It didn't seem to fit. They just why would you make the most dangerous creature in the universe tearful and wanting to just help people by killing them?
But going back to what you were saying, John, favorite moment, favorite character you really enjoyed.
Favorite character was Thanos, definitely. He I mean, Josh Brolin was amazing in that character. I think my favorite moment in the entire movie, and there was plenty of good moments for me. One of my favorite is where Peter Quill runs by and he puts the electrode on his back, then jumps through the portal and flips into the bird while he's going. I like that. But I think the turning point for me in the movie, because I had honestly, when I was first sitting there watching it, I felt it to be a little bit, to me, it was a little draggy at the start. It was just kind of like, okay, what's going on? What are we getting to? Let's get to this. And the part that switched it on for me and made it really into a superhero movie of the magnitude that I think a movie like this should have been is when he took the Infinity Gauntlet and he grabbed the moon on Titan and then threw the moon at him. Yeah. That was cool. And that was probably my favorite, because that's when it turned for me. I was like, oh, wow, this is better than I thought it was going to be. And yeah, that part part really flipped the switch for me when it came to that.
Brian, favorite character, favorite moment?
Well, my favorite character is Capped when he came out of the shadows. I was like, there's my boy right there, saving the day like he's supposed to.
I wasn't expecting that. That was cool.
Yeah, but like besides all of his favorite one, I loved the struggle with Hulk and Dr. Banner. Like after Thanos, like literally like whooped his butt on the ship, and then all of a sudden he was like, "No Hulk, no Hulk." Like the whole rest of the movie.
Yeah.
I kind of thought that was interesting of like how they've always, like even in like Ragnarok and even at the start when Loki was like, "Oh, you might have that, but we have a Hulk."
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like they don't have a Hulk when they're fighting now.
Right.
The biggest battle in 10 years, and the Hulk wants to stay hidden.
Right.
To kind of add to that, it was a good story point so all this time all we thought is that the Hulk wants to get out and Bruce Banner's keeping him in by sheer will when he can, and sometimes he can't.
Yeah.
And we have the opposite. The Hulk's not coming out, no matter how much Bruce Banner
No.
does, no matter how many times Bruce Banner gets hit.
Yeah.
Because
even when Tony and Doctor Strange are standing there, and he's like, "Dude,
Come on.
you're making me look
Look
bad
bad
for the
for the
Wizards."
Wizards.
I mean, that line was just like, I was like, "Yes, that's so good."
But yeah, I thought that was a good thing to put in there. Is that no matter what, like, even in the appearance of death to Banner and Hulk, Hulk wasn't coming out.
No, Hulk was like, "No, I'm good."
He's never been scared of anybody before, and now he is.
Yeah, he's like,
Charlie, favorite character, favorite moment?
Well, favorite character is Thanos. But besides that, the Red Skull in there was really shockingly good.
yeah.
Like
Yes.
that was
Out of left field.
out of
Just-
left. Didn't expect it at all. Like I was like, why does that voice sound familiar? And then I was like, oh,
different
crap, that's
actor.
great.
I
Different
should
actor.
I should
Is it?
honestly
Yeah.
have my
But I mean, he did a good job.
did.
Yeah, it was John. Was it you doing an impression of Red Skull?
no, I wasn't.
But
Doing
you're a great impressionist. That's what I'm
no,
saying.
I can't do that. It's too much.
Yeah, by the end of the episode,
That's
John's
not
going to
John's
have it
power.
down
Well,
pat.
but we were. I really need to have to be removed from my chair tonight because I was sitting there watching it, and I'm like sitting there, and the black
Fully thing.
thing comes down, and he starts talking, and I can't do it, but he.
We
And
found
I'm
one
sitting
he
there, and I'm
can't
like,
do.
"What is that? Where's that from? Where's that from?" And Carla leans over, she's like, "Red Skull." I was like, "What?"
Well, it took me a
And I was
second
like,
It did, it took me a
also.
"Oh
second.
no!" Then she was like,
Well, I mean, his face was covered from here back, and it was
"Got that before you did." I almost had to leave the theater in shame. But yeah, that was absolutely awesome.
That was a really good, 5-minute scene that got to the point real quick, and that like no other character from the cinematic universe would have been good in that role. Yeah, they
Right.
could have created somebody, but I thought that was just really, really good.
And I really liked the way they played up. And of course, it comes out of Captain America: The First Avenger. But here he's getting ready to throw Gamora off this cliff, and there's just a complete Red Skull amorality to it. He's like, "Yeah, he's not crying for you.
He's not,
Yeah.
he's not crying for himself.
Yeah.
He's crying
He's not
for you.
crying for himself." That was absolutely amazing. And yeah,
Aaron? Oh, no, moment.
Well, favorite moment I already said when the Thor and
Asgard.
Groot and Rocket. I thought that was great. He kept the fact that whole interaction. Like I said, I didn't. That's not something I was hoping for. I don't have a problem with that wasn't something I didn't want, but it was so good.
Yeah.
In all ways. Like even like at the end when Groot, I thought they were going to kill Groot off then when he made the axe, and the fact that
Yeah.
Thor's god-killing weapon is always going to have a part of Groot.
Right. Right.
Did it disappear?
No.
No.
Okay. I'm
Yeah,
No,
it's
it's
a
still-
good
it's
question,
still
though.
tight.
I guess since it's not a living organism
separated off
anymore.
of him, yeah.
But I thought that was really cool. Especially that I really wonder if Gunn had any input in the way that they
Treated their
treated those
characters.
characters, because
I read
it's almost as if he directed
I
those
did.
scenes.
They did.
I read an article about it that he came in and told him that he was going to write the dialogue for the Guardians of the Galaxy characters. So he actually came
Good.
in and did that so they would keep them in
Yeah.
In
They weren't
character.
in character. Yeah.
they weren't a character at all. But that whole that all the interaction from like I said, what they've managed to do in the Guardians films too is that these characters can be so unlikable and so comical and then make you cry every single time.
It's like
Gunn's great at that.
It's like an angel and a pirate and a baby.
That was my second favorite thing when he was like, "Dude," he's like, "No, you are a dude. This is a man."
Yeah. You're one cheeseburger away from being fat.
What?
Well,
Aaron,
go ahead. I'm sorry, Aaron.
Aaron, favorite character, favorite moment.
I would say Thanos is my favorite, but everybody else has said that, so I'll go with Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That kid is a heck of an actor. He really is, and his death scene is incredible.
I liked it.
I liked it better in Doctor Who, but it's all right.
He is probably in my book the epitome of what you want in a Spider-Man character.
Yeah.
Because Andrew Garfield was all and Tobey Maguire was this kid's like got spot on. And I even liked it the scene at the beginning where his buddy was sitting in front of him. He's like cause a distraction. He's like, oh my god, we're all gonna die.
Aaron, anything else on that scene?
And then I'd say the favorite moment, probably when the Guardians catch up with Thanos at the Collector's place. That whole sequence was pretty cool.
That was cool.
Yeah. And some of that stuff was straight out of the comic book. Aaron actually sent it to me where he makes Drax fall apart and he makes Mantis turn into ribbons. That's things that he did to people in the Infinity Gauntlet comic book. So that was pretty cool.
My secondary favorite scene was when they were on Titan and they were talking about the gravity, and in the background Mantis is just jumping.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just something small like that. And then when they were like, we kick names and take.
Yeah.
And Tony Stark's like, these are your.
Yes, we do.
That's good. My favorite character was Thor. I felt like from Ragnarok to this movie, he was seamless. Like it picked up straight from Ragnarok. It felt like the same director was directing Thor all through this movie. I thought the parts with the Guardians and the part where he's just taking their food and
is there a 4-digit code?
Yeah,
I like that too.
And then he said, or Rocket calls them morons, and he's like, "I'll see you later, morons," not knowing that morons is And then the part about the eyeball, and he's like, "Oh, I would have watched that." Like all of that was great, and then Thor, all of the Thor stuff, I thought was fantastic. As far as favorite scene, I thought Spider-Man's death scene was really good. I really like the opening fight with Iron Man and Doctor Strange and Wong and the two of Thanos' children there in New York City. The witty banter between Strange and Iron Man, and where Wong makes the one guy's arm gets blown off, and Iron Man's like, "Wong, you're in my wedding," and takes off. And so I just, to me, like from go, I was loving the movie, and that fight scene really set it off. But that's I would say probably all of our favorite characters, favorite moments. Maybe when we come back, we'll talk about
One
some of the
secondary
stuff that
favorite
bugged us.
character for me that blew me away. Ebony Maw.
Yeah,
That character
That
was
was
so
good.
bad. It wasn't even. It was just awesome.
Which
must
one
be
was
very
that?
popular
It
with the
was
children.
The
that part
talker.
when
He
it said,
was the speaker, the one that got Strange.
I got you.
Yeah,
"You are now children of Thanos." Yes, he's one of the best.
it's like a
best
perfect
characters.
Nazi.
Yes, he was definitely.
Thanos, the Desperado.
Is this the song that was playing when what's his name, Sam Elliott was in Ghost Rider?
Welcome
Ghost
back
Riders
to
on
the
the sky.
Five Live Bears podcast. We have just been discussing Infinity Wars on top of Infinity Wars, and we've had some pretty good chat, pretty good banter, pretty good difference of opinions on it. We just got done talking about our favorite characters and favorite moments, and just all talking about how amazing Thor looked. But what we wanted to jump into next was what was like the one thing that really bugged you about Infinity Wars? Now, Charlie, I know this is gonna be hard for you just to narrow it down to
Yeah, you
one
gotta
thing.
narrow
You
it down,
gotta
man.
narrow it down. As the rest of us were trying to narrow down our favorite moments, you've got to narrow down. But Charlie, tell me one thing that really bugged you about the movie.
I've already said it. I feel, this is my personal opinion,
Yeah.
that it was lazy writing. I think that instead of let's create some actual tension in this film, let's do something that we're going to telegraph from the very opening moments of the movie, that it's going to boil down to them not killing their significant others, and then let's just go through with it. I feel that's, and this is coming from the guy who loves Grey's Anatomy, but it was too soap opera. It didn't belong, Also, it could be because it's so much crap. It's so much crap for saying this. since Black Panther was such a perfect movie,
Oh,
in my opinion, I thought I didn't see Killmonger being the nephew or the cousin. I did all this stuff that I didn't see, and it's like Infinity War. I'm like, I need to preface this too. I got spoilers on accident, and I was and had I not gotten the spoilers, I might have been a little bit more excited about watching.
Well, you know, I think that's a great thing that you said though about Black Panther. How you feel so great about Black Panther, and the rest of us don't, and how the rest of us feel about Infinity War or vice versa. I think it's a great thing. I think that's great to have the difference of opinion, you know, and it doesn't mean anybody's wrong or right. It's just the fact that people see and interpret movies and have feelings differently.
I have one more thing to say.
Sure.
I have to change my favorite moment in the film.
Okay.
I thought I was going to have to start a freaking riot because I was like, if they kill off M'Baku, I'm going to lose it.
Yeah.
I'm going to lose it if the leader of the Jabari turns
great.
into dust, or I can't think of the character's name, but Michonne, what's the Okoye? Is that her name?
Okoye.
Yeah. If those two had a guy, like, I'm not even as upset about Black Panther as I would have been had those two.
Oh, yeah.
Or if
been
his
killed
sister
off.
died.
Or his sister, but we don't know.
She's got knocked down.
They didn't come back to her, so she might be gone too.
She got knocked down. You know, speaking of random thing, Black Panther. You know, after they never show what happens to Watson, the guy Bilbo. They never show anything.
Agent Ross?
Yeah, they never show anything about him after he blows up the ship.
He got out of there.
No, he's at the UN thing at the end.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
never mind.
There
then.
he's smiling at him. Yeah.
In the comics, he becomes
Aaron, he's smiling at him.
in the comics he becomes the ambassador
To Wakanda.
from Wakanda to the rest of the world.
Gotcha.
And basically, he's T'Challa's secretary.
Gotcha.
I'm sorry. So yes,
Aaron, this was your movie, Aaron. This was your dreams. One thing that bugged you.
If and Charlie's going to say, "All right, some of the writing," and what I mean by the writing was, I felt like things kept repeating. Like, someone's going to try to stop Thanos when he's not looking. Oh, it's a Mexican standoff. Oh, someone's going to try to stop Thanos when he's not looking. Oh, it's a Mexican standoff. It kept happening over and over. And I felt like I really liked the movie, but I felt like there may have been other ways they could have done those scenes.
Yeah, I get that. Brian, one thing that really bugged you.
I'm struggling here with this one.
I'm telling you, Brian and I have like
Brian's
a
like,
bromance
it
with
was
Infinity War.
Incredible.
No, I mean, I just
go to bed.
I mean, there was,
I go to bed
but
thinking
again,
about it.
this is the first one I've gone into with no expectations, so it was just like I wasn't upset with anything, and I wasn't disappointed with anything, so it was kind of a cool way to watch it.
Okay, I'll
but
come back to you then,
let me
John.
think a little bit.
Brian is to Infinity War as Charlie is
It's
to Black Panther.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, it's the couch.
John,
It's a
one
good-
thing.
it's
One
the
thing that
couch.
bugged you.
Okay, the thing that bugged me, and this bugged me the first time I saw it, and it really bugged me the second time. And the more I think about it, the more it bugs me, is the very cliche-ish way they did the scene where you got Iron Man and Spider-Man.
I know exactly what
and
you're going to say.
Mantis, yes, and
That's the part that bugged me.
Drax, and I mean they're right there. They got the Infinity Gauntlet, and all of a sudden, here comes
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord up. He's like, he's like, I can't sacrifice. No,
That was
I got mine now. I
and of
know
course
what it
Tony
is.
Stark's like, hey, take what he said. I can't remember what
he's
he's
like,
Cool it,
cool it.
Flyboy.
Cool it, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, and then he hits him in the face. Okay, you saw that coming from the moment he
Yep.
landed, and that's the one scene in the movie
Me
that
too.
I went, oh, for crying out loud, do we
thought-
have to go this route?
I rolled my eyes a lot during the film, but the thing that didn't surprise me because that's Peter Quill.
Well, it didn't- yeah, but-
before
You know, like
you
he
all go there,
killed his
I
dad.
know the one thing that bugged me. The one thing is the daggum bubbles.
That is-
That like
I love
that,
the
like-
bubbles.
Thanos kept turning things to bubbles.
it's like, dude, you have the reality stone. You turn anything you want, and it's bubbles.
The
Like,
bubbles
that's what
are
we got.
awesome.
It was almost as if instead of the bubbles coming out, Mr. Miyagi jumped out and honked his nose.
Yeah, like that was the one.
That would
thing.
have been great too.
Like to me personally, I know you said that didn't bug you because that's Peter Quill. To me, the whole movie, Peter Quill felt wrong to me,
Yes.
and like,
I can agree with that to a certain extent.
Right, like I know he's a hothead, I know he's immature, but like I felt like at the end of Guardians 2 with the moment with Yondu, with everything he found out about his father, that we kind of had this change, this turning point in Peter Quill's life, and it was like in this movie that never happened, and he was back to old Peter Quill. And to me, John, that was the thing that bugged me more than anything. Was his he. It's like, and the crazy thing is, people are on. There's articles about how people are on his Instagram and on his Facebook talking about how much of an idiot he is. Oh, they're on Chris Pratt's
Chris
Facebook.
Pratt's like it's
Chris
not
Pratt's
really
like,
though.
it's not real. But Aaron mentioned that James Gunn and Chris Pratt both pushed for that scene to happen in that manner. So I don't know if it's setting up something later on or whatever it might be.
It didn't bother me because he gave up immortality to avenge his mother's death. That seems like something he has no qualms with being irrational in the moment.
Sure.
And I had no problem with it being irrational because as I was sitting there and I was watching it, and he started pounding him in the head with the butt of his gun, I thought, why didn't he just stick the gun in his mouth and start pulling the trigger,
or just kick him in his
until the guy
they cut his arm off?
Iron Man's got a giant sword.
We have several
yeah.
swords. There are multiple swords.
okay,
his skin's pretty much.
But here's my thing is because he walks
Well,
up.
in the dream, she stabbed him in the neck.
He walks up.
He allowed her.
But still,
Hold on, I
I'm
gotta
just
turn
saying.
my microphone here. He walks up and he's like,
It's getting hot in here.
he's like, "Where is Gamora? Where is Gamora?" And Thanos is like, "I saw her." and Peter Quill's like, "No, Dad, what?" And
Nebula's like,
They both went in.
they both went in,
Yeah, they both
and
went in.
only one came back.
and Iron Man's like,
2 minutes into
and Iron Man's like, take a step, and Spider-Man's like, I've almost got it. So what kept him? He goes up and pounds him in the head with the butt of a gun. Okay, earlier you were completely willing to shoot Gamora in the face with a
Right.
bubble gun, and then it comes down to the
It felt very cliche.
yeah. That's what I'm saying.
I agree.
Enemy of
because he was
enemies.
so overtaken with raw emotion
It's funny
of losing
that,
the woman he
it's funny
loves.
that
And
you and I
that's
are
cool
talking about
that
the
he can't
part
even
that
think about
bugged
it.
us, and Charlie's like, "Well, I was okay
Yeah,
with that."
Well,
Part.
and that's cool that you want to avenge the woman you love. I have no problem with this idea of avenging the woman you love. But if I was that much in love with Gamora and I was him and I had a gun and I was on a planet where there was no laws, I'd stick the gun in his mouth and be like, boom.
But that's the point. You wouldn't be thinking that way, John. You'd be
You
overcome
wanted
with
to take out
emotion.
the rage.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause
I don't think so.
That's too good for a man just to blow his brains out the back of his head like that. You
I
don't
would
even
have.
feel the taste.
And Manus
of
is
the
like,
gun.
he's so strong.
That okay? Now I have another problem.
Oh, no.
Okay, so we
I've opened
have to get
Pandora's
this
box.
giant gun to kill Ronan, and we're going to use our pea shooters to kill Thanos.
Giant gun.
That was a-
Rocket wasn't there to build the gun.
Well, this is true, but you'd think maybe, hey, Rocket, can you build me a giant gun because I'm going to kill Thanos?
At that
That's why
point,
Thor was
Rocket.
going.
At that point, Rocket was like, "I'm the captain with Thor."
Right, but
ditching
still,
you
just
losers.
or you think,
Yeah.
maybe at
Oh,
one
it's
point in
time
time,
to be
Gamora would say, you know what, we might have to kill my dad. He's unkillable.
Another-
Would you make a gun for us?
I do have another scene that bugged me.
But wasn't it funny though when Peter Quill, when they were on the ship with Thor, and he was like wait a minute, the one is like God killing weapons, like shouldn't we all have them? And Thor was like, it would completely destroy you just by even picking it up. Like it would be just,
Another scene, and that's another scene that bothered me was what's his name, Peter, the dwarf.
Dinklage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that scene.
Did that seem offensive to anybody
No,
else
it
but
didn't-
me?
it didn't seem
that was
offensive.
so
That
offensive.
a dwarf played a giant dwarf.
Dwarf, yeah.
And but it was not because he's a great actor. It's because it was a joke.
Well,
Like, because that's the thing. Like when everybody realized who he was in the theater, it was the biggest laugh. Like apparently, everybody in the crowd was on the same page with me because nobody said a word about anything. And like at the end of the film, the majority of people walked out before the credits. Like it was
I did twice.
stone
I had to go
silent
to the bathroom.
on it Preston Crossings in the middle of redneck town, and nobody was wooing at all.
Because
I'm
you
like,
went the 18th day
One-
it had been out.
on the
That's
on the
why.
first night I had to go bathroom so bad I jumped the bar like Spider-Man.
it's funny you say that because I had to go so bad. I almost did that too, but I
Oh,
decided I
man.
didn't want to fall and bust my face open and then pee on myself.
Well, I just didn't like it because it seemed like as good an actor as he is, it was like a forced thing. He was like, Thor, I lost my hands.
Right.
He took my hands.
that's another thing.
I was like,
I
what?
I did love the part though where he's like, "Boy, that's suicide," and he's like, "Only if it kills me." And he comes back, he's like, "That's
what it means.
That's what it means."
That was great.
Yeah.
I did. Okay.
Aaron, any thoughts on Dinklage there?
It was okay. I mean, I wasn't blown away or anything. It was fine.
That's how I kind of feel. It was just.
Here's my fear, though. In the next movie, if they have to build a new gauntlet, are they going to go back to Peter Dinklage, and we're going to repeat the whole scene of them trying to start the sun again and all that? I hope they don't do that.
Trying to eat soup with a straw or what? You know?
I do feel like,
So
I like Peter Dinklage as an actor,
metal hands.
and I felt like it was a little bit of a waste of, like, we had this guy, we could have put him in a better role, we could have done something more with him.
It could have been Thanos.
Another thing. Sorry,
CGI guy.
Another
All right,
thing.
Charlie, this is your last thing this episode to say that bugged you.
And this didn't bug me. It was just kind of shocking. So we've watched all these movies and we've liked everybody in them, and then when you had like the caliber of performance that Josh Brolin did made some of their acting look really bad. Like the other Olsen, like when they were like on screen together, it was like, oh, you stink at acting compared to Josh Brolin.
It just never crossed my mind. I was just in awe of the movie. You know?
A lot of people's performances seemed very dim compared to his.
He absolutely outshined everybody in this, and it was just you forgot. I mean, and sometimes you can look at, you watch these movies and you go for escape, so you're not like, oh, it's Chris Pratt or it's Thor. It's
I
some
do
people.
that about Thor,
but
his muscles are made of Valerian steel.
in this, and the way they did him in the CGI was incredible.
Yeah,
is you forgot that was a CGI character.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now the girl that Carla had this complaint. The girl that was part of his Black Order or whatever it's called, she looked a little junky. We
With
didn't,
the black,
kind
folds
of,
up her eyes.
yeah. The other
Furiosa.
ones looked all right. Ebony Maw was incredible, but Thanos just
stood out.
just
He
actually
really
killed
stood
it.
out. So
The scene with him and young Gamora where he kills half of Gamora's
Oh, that was
people
absolutely
is just
awesome.
incredible.
It was a great scene.
yeah, and in next episode we can really jump into Thanos and have that discussion about eco-terrorists versus humanity versus whatever. But Thanos was definitely a character that towered above everybody else in this movie, and really was the star of the movie. So let's do this real quick. Overall, out of 10, Charlie, I know you said you really bombed it on Bear Chat, but in talking with you, there does legitimately seem to be parts of this movie you really enjoyed.
Well, here's my comparison. So I go out to dinner, and I get this really awesome steak, and it's a great
you're going to
steak.
do one of those Aaron comparisons.
And then I get to the potato, and it's just full of dead bugs. Just because the steak was
Did
great.
Tony Hawk bring you the potato?
Yes, Tony Hawk brought me the potato.
That's what you're saying. They have Tony Hawk in it somewhere.
So I mean,
Out of 10,
I think 3's too high, but 2's too low.
wow,
2.5.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go on a rant anymore.
All right, John.
It was another Avengers movie. Avengers movies don't really go very high on my list.
I feel like the first Avengers movie is what they give you at McDonald's.
Yeah, and I still agree. I still stand
When's
by
the
that
last time
statement.
you watched it?
Today.
Okay.
So his opinion changed. Today.
No, it didn't
No,
depend.
no,
Hang on.
No,
I
it
got-
didn't change.
I'm joking.
I've got a whole. It's not that the movie's bad. The movie's good, but it just kind of the just it feels like one of the movies you get like when they used to give out Weekend at Bernie's. Like during Christmas time, you buy the
this
Big
during
Mac and
McDonald's
you can
years?
buy the movie in the paper. You don't remember those? I got one over here. I can show you.
No.
Yeah, you get it at McDonald's.
Aaron, do you remember that?
You had to go with like Santa Claus the movie or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, that's what it kind of reminds me.
Yeah.
of.
Aaron would remember.
Susie,
John,
Susie, was
out
sitting,
of 10.
Susie was sitting down here watching it with me the other day, and she was like, she's watching it. They really have fixed things over the
They have.
last. I was like, yeah,
They
things
really
got a lot
have.
better, including Captain America's costume.
Yeah.
But that beard was fierce.
Yeah, the beard was good.
It was big.
He said, "You cut your hair." He grew out my beard.
That's right. Cut me out a beard.
Avenger movies don't usually rank real high with me. I mean, I liked them. Age of Ultron was really good. I liked it. I know a lot of people didn't, but I give it probably a 7 out of 10 on my list of movies. Not that the arbitrary number really means much, but
Right.
it kind of it was good. I'll give it. I'll buy it and I'll watch it again and again and again when it comes out.
Let's go now. Time for fanboy talk. Brian, out of 10.
Oh,
Just because he likes it doesn't make it.
No, I mean it's Brian, me, and Aaron. That's all that's left. It's
Oh,
fanboy
okay.
time.
yeah. I mean, it's
We
for
even
me-
said that we said Charlie hated it. I liked it. You guys like live it. And
yeah,
that's
like I'm ready for the Thanos gauntlet on my hand here.
I'm gonna buy one of those bad boys.
I mean, I mean, for me, it was a 9. Like it was just,
Yeah.
like I said, it was really liberating to go in with no expectations. I mean, it really changed that movie for me.
I'm right there with you. A 9 for me. It would have probably been a 10 if it wasn't for the Peter Quill cliche scene. That scene just really irked me for whatever reason. But I know John said it kind of took a minute to get going for him. I thought from go, I was loving it. I was in it, and I was like, let's do this. So 9 out of 10 for me. Aaron.
I'm gonna go 9. Also, it would have been a 10 if the cocoon had opened in the end credits and Adam Warlock had stepped out. But that's
Instead of Captain Marvel.
I'll go 9.
Aaron.
I would have given it in
Adam
9.
Warlock is the opposite of Thanos. They are both awesome characters.
I would have given it a 9 in my book if they'd had a split screen at the end that showed that big monitor in a throne room, and they're watching all these people
Yes.
disappear.
Yeah, I
and
would
that Iron Gauntlet had come down and had been Doctor Doom's hand slamming down. On it. Slamming
And
down.
his hand disintegrates.
No,
Would you-
like, well, that's it, folks.
Would you give it a higher ranking if at the end it showed the Defenders and Iron Fist disappeared?
Yes. I'm like, this is the greatest movie
Charlie
of all
would have
time.
stood up and clapped.
It's just been his fist like clunking on the ground.
I can make my hand glow. Where am I going?
Luke Cage would have picked it up and been like,
And then he disappeared also.
yeah, that'd been awesome.
Okay. One other thing before we get rolling out of here. There is a link going around that you can click, and you can click it, and it tells you whether or not you survived Thanos and him wiping out half the Earth. Aaron sent it to me the other day in truly 50-50 fashion. I survived, and Aaron, what happened to you?
I was sacrificed for Thanos for the good of humanity.
So it was kind of funny that it's 50-50, and then beautiful Brent's girlfriend, I sent it to her, and her sister did it, and of course she lived and her sister died. It was
So-
kind of funny
That's
how that
weird
worked
how
out.
it works.
Yeah, John, what happened to you,
I was sacrificed for the betterment of humanity or whatever it said.
Charlie?
I was sacrificed for the sake of humanity.
And I just did it, and I was spared.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I knew that
You know
was
why?
gonna happen.
Because we're fanboys. We were like, Thanos.
found you worthy.
Thanos. We're part of his children.
You think this is painful? This is mercy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
And Thanos knew I was such a fan that I wouldn't mind being sacrificed.
That's right. That's right.
And Thanos knew I'd be happy to not
that's right.
live in a
He
society where
knew
that's
how
a thing.
bad you talked about it. He's like, that guy's gotta go.
No, he's showing me mercy. Thank you, Thanos. Thank you.
Before we jump out of here, Aaron wanted to do just kind of a quick teaser of what he thinks the title of the next Avengers movie is going to be. Aaron, go ahead. Go full Aaron on us for a moment.
I'm almost 99% sure that Avengers 4 will be called Heroes Reborn. It makes sense for what needs to happen.
I don't think that they'll.
Go
I
ahead.
mean, well, never mind. I'll say I don't think they would telegraph that, but they're all about telegraphing things. So
Right.
And everybody's
They've
got
said
movies
it's not-
coming out.
that's
They've said it's not Infinity Gauntlet and that it would make sense, but they don't want to reveal it because it's too spoilery. So I think Heroes Reborn would be the perfect title.
But that's pretty much our initial reactions and thoughts and favorite scenes and things we didn't like about it. We're gonna talk about this more in the next podcast. Really jump into Thanos a little bit more. Talk about that. Talk about the theaters we were in and how they were acting. Charlie kind of touched about that. I've got some crazy stories to tell about the multiple times I went. So we're really going to jump into that in the next podcast. But thanks so much for joining us tonight for Infinity Wars with the 5 Live Bears.